Hey everybody, cheers! My name is Cole, aka Transspirit Indigo, a soul having a human experience. Howdy y'all, thank you so much for visiting my channel. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed. Please subscribe and like this if you haven't already, and let's get into this video. It has become very clear to me. Well, it's been clear for a while, but I haven't really talked about it. So what I wanted to make this video about today was how I am not a stereotypical transgender guy, and I've realized this through many ways, just going out there researching, looking at other trans guys, talking to other trans guys. I'm not a stereotypical trans guy because I have not transitioned. I don't take testosterone, I don't bind my breasts down, I don't pack, and there's nothing wrong with any of these things, but it really hit me the other day. I'm like, you don't do any of those things. Like I guess I can't really relate as much, and I've thought about doing these kinds of things, but the root of it all doesn't work for me personally. Taking testosterone, it doesn't work for me because I refuse to change my voice. I'm a professional singer. I love to sing. I've made a living off singing. It's so important to me, and I don't want to risk changing that. I could sound just as great in a male voice, but I don't know for sure, and I don't want to take that risk. And that is my damn decision. Don't let anyone else tell you how to live your life. The doctor, when I was 20 years old, I'm 36 now, he tried to tell me that I was wrong. He tried to tell me all sorts of stuff. And if maybe you've seen that video right there, the doctor that told me this and that, that's old news. That was 16 years ago. Of course, I'm still a little bit bitter about it because I don't think he should have said that, but gotta let it go, right? So other than the testosterone, then there is the binding of the chest. Now, I am also somebody who fluctuates in weight. I have been 100 pounds underweight, overweight, everywhere in between. When I am lighter and less weight, my breasts aren't as big, and they're easier to hide. When I'm bigger, I can't hide them. I just never tried binding them down. I wear sports bras, and a lot of times certain clothes will cover them, and I'm super happy about that. But I was told years ago not to tape them down, which I'm still being told. It's painful. It can do damage to your chest, from what I'm told. Like if you do go to have chest surgery, have them removed, that it can be messed up. So you don't want to tape them down, is what I've always been told. Painful. Now I'm like, okay, these binders have been around forever. Where have I been? Another thing dawned on me. I, at one point, just ran away from being transgender. I pretty much was in a society, and my reality was surrounded by people that were not aware of trans people. A lot of times I was told I was making it up. A lot of times I was told I was a lesbian and just making things too complicated. That was something I heard a lot. That's too complicated for us to understand. We're just going to call you a lesbian. Now, if somebody were to say that to me now, I would strike down with an iron fist, and I would say, no, I am not a lesbian. You will not call me a lesbian because I'm transgender. Not that there's anything wrong with lesbians, but I'm not one. Back in those days, I was too timid, scared to stand up for myself. And now, thankfully, I'm not. So with all of the harassing and people making fun of me when I was younger, and an 8-year alcohol addiction, I just ran. How did I run from it? I mean, you can't literally run. I just shut it down, y'all, for a really long time. I shut it down. I didn't want to talk about being transgender. I would not tell people I'm transgender. I just wanted to be a cisgender, heterosexual, straight guy and be left the hell alone. And I understand that's why a lot of people transition, is because they want their outside to match their inside, and they just want to be left alone. They don't want to go around declaring they're transgender. And what I didn't understand in the beginning is that if I didn't transition, I would constantly be explaining to people, oh, pardon me. I would constantly be explaining to people that I'm transgender. Not that I have to, but people ask, especially as a singer, and that's the irony is, like I said, I don't want to change my voice because I'm a singer. Well, a lot of times dressing the way I do, acting the way I do, because I am who I am, and then singing in a feminine voice has caused loads of questions to come my way. I just got so sick of it. I got so sick of it because it wasn't all butterflies and rainbows. It wasn't like, oh, why are you this way? Oh, you're trans? Oh, okay, cool. A lot of it, I mean, we're talking almost 20 years ago. We're talking in the Midwestern United States. It's not like I was chilling out in San Francisco, where it might have been a little bit easier to be queer. Maybe. I'm sure people have had awful things come about in San Francisco too. You know, nothing is perfect. But where I was at, in the time period I was in, it was rough. Like, it was mainly a lot of hatred. 16, 15, 14 years ago, it was a lot of hatred. It was, I mean, guys would just look at me and laugh. It's pretty rough, man. So I got sick of it. I didn't want to talk about it anymore. I was in a band, a musical group of mainly men for years. Open-minded men. And then the last band I was in, there was one other female in the band. And I say one other, talking as if I'm one. I'm not. But biologically, I am female. And being in that group, it just made me realize I don't fit into the gender binary. And there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. The gender binary is made up, just like most other things on this planet. You know, and this is where my interest, this is where my passion comes in. I am a light worker, okay? I'm a clairvoyant. I am a starseed. I am an indigo adult. This is what is most important to me right now in this lifetime, because we are in times of ascension. This is the Great Awakening. If you know what I'm saying, then you know what I'm saying. And if you don't, either you'll never know, or maybe you'll get there one day. It's not for everybody. This information is not for everybody. So if you're watching this channel, maybe you resonate with it, maybe you don't. And this is also something I wanted to bring up with me not being a stereotypical transgender guy. I wanted to make this channel to help trans people. I wanted to share my experiences to help trans people or their families or people to better understand by sharing my perspective, by sharing what I've been through. As the channel progressed, I was going through a massive spiritual awakening. And that's all I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to talk about being trans anymore. It wasn't, not that there's anything wrong with it. I just wasn't fully, into that. I wasn't like, that's not what I thought about morning, noon, and night. What I thought about constantly was the whole spiritual awakening process, the law of attraction, ascension. This is what was on my mind. But I had created this channel that was all about being transgender. And I thought, okay, well, what topics am I going to discuss today? What are we going to talk about? And I'm looking at other channels that have transgender guys, because I mean, that's what you do a lot of times, is when you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes you just want to give your perspective on popular topics, right? There was even a lady I recently listened to. She said, if you're making YouTube videos, you want to make them searchable. Don't try to invent your own topics until you get a large channel. And I realized a lot of my videos were more like invented topics, because I didn't find many people that were talking about being transgender and spirituality. And then I found a few, and ironically, some of them don't make videos anymore. And I'm like, what is going on? This is so bizarre. Like, I'm combining two subjects, being trans and being spiritual, together. And it's you don't find a lot of channels. And then when I do find the few channels that people are doing that, they're not currently making videos. And I just found it to be so strange. I thought, where do these people go? What's going on here? And it made me feel even more like just inspired to make these videos. And I don't know, I mean, people have their own projects going on. Just because they're not making videos anymore doesn't mean that they're not doing the work, or they're not doing it in different ways, or writing a book, or doing podcasts, or publicly speaking. But there was particularly one channel I found that I'm like, oh my God, This guy's trans, he's going through a spiritual awakening, and he's transgender, and he did transition. He's on testosterone, he's going through the whole change. And I want to make this very clear. You can be spiritual and still take testosterone or estrogen. You can be spiritual and you can have gender reassignment surgery. Just because I didn't have reassignment surgery doesn't mean that's the only way to be spiritual. That's just my journey. It mainly had to do with my singing. And you know what? There are people that can sing and they go and they change and their voice still sounds amazing in the gender that they identify with. So if you're out there and you're like, I don't know if I want to transition because I'm a great singer and I don't want to change my voice, that's fine. But if you're sitting there and you're like, I'm a great singer, but I want to change it. I have to be male or I have to be female, and I don't mind taking the risk. That's okay too. I have heard a lot of people sing after taking testosterone, and they sound amazing. They sound amazing. So it's a personal choice. I could have took testosterone 16 years ago, be sitting here talking to you with a deep voice, a full-on beard, all of it, and still have an amazing singing voice. I just didn't. And I come to find out years later that I am very, 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 very focused on my spiritual path. And part of that path for me is embracing femininity and masculinity. I've realized that this whole gender spectrum of male and female is a social construct. Like, we put gender on clothes, we put gender on haircuts, we put gender on everything. We even put gender on glasses. Y'all, when I went to go pick out glasses a couple weeks ago, there was a guy's wall and a girl's wall. Come on, man. So I picked up boys and girls, and there was like hardly any differences in them anyway. We have just become so used to the social construct of gender. People, unfortunately, are a lot like sheep sometimes, including myself. It's like we want to be led. We want people to tell us, well, what do I do? What do I pick? I'm a boy, I pick those. I'm a girl, I pick those. What pair of glasses do you like? What pair of glasses do you prefer? What makes you feel happy when you put them on your face? That's what should matter. The same thing with everyday life. What kind of clothes do you want to wear? You could feel like a straight guy and want to wear a skirt. I knew a guy that had a girlfriend. I played music with him. He loved to wear like tribal skirts when we would perform at different venues. He had a girlfriend. He identified as a boy. He wore skirts. Who cares? It's clothing. You guys, there's so much more interesting things going on around us than the social constructs of gender. And I can see where it gets so frustrating for people, because these limiting beliefs can be so destructive to people, especially being like trans. People's limiting beliefs, I allowed them to just rip me up inside emotionally for years. I allowed that to upset me. Oh, they're telling me that I can't wear that jacket because it's a guy's jacket, and I can't wear it. My life is just so terrible because I wish I had that guy's haircut. That was my childhood, y'all. That was not okay. No child should grow up feeling like they're just leading this double life to please other people. That's not okay. Please let your kids wear what they want to wear. And as far as them being, you are worried about what society will think, man, I can understand where you're coming from. I'm at that age where, having kids and everything. I don't have kids, but I could be a parent, 36 years old. I can understand and empathize with you not wanting your child to be bullied, this or that. But your child, everybody has their own path. Because I was one of those kids. My parents were so afraid of me dressing in masculine clothing because I'm biologically a female. But I am transgender, and that's what I had to do to be happy. And I received a lot of heat for it at times. And other times I was praised for being myself. But I will tell you this, when I started dressing in the clothes I wanted to dress in and having the haircut I wanted to have, Life changed for the better. I couldn't and would not go back to dressing in what's considered feminine clothing to please other people. I don't care if people think I'm a lesbian, even though I'm trans. First off, because there's nothing wrong with being lesbian. Lesbians are amazing. So yes, so sometimes people they'll call me a lesbian or think I'm a lesbian because I have not transitioned. And that's okay. I could transition and people could still say, oh, I could tell you transitioned and you're not a real guy. There are always going to be people shit talking. But let me tell you this. Anyone who talks crap about another human being has unresolved issues within themselves. The last thing that I want to do is go around talking crap about other people. I've been that person. I've been the person talking crap. And a lot of it was when I was heavily drinking and very unhappy with myself. When you're happy with yourself, you're not going to talk crap about other people. So if somebody's talking crap about you, just know that it truly doesn't have to do with you. It seems like it does because they're targeting you. But a lot of times people will say crap just to make themselves feel better because their self-esteem is so low and they feel so crappy about themselves. This is a side note. But anyway, this video is way longer than I wanted it to be, so I'm going to wrap it up. But I am not a stereotypical trans guy because I don't do the stereotypical things that most trans guys do. And that's okay. And you don't have to do all those things. Maybe you are out there thinking, I'm a trans guy, but I don't relate to all that. That's okay, hon. That's okay, man. You don't have to. Be you. Be you. You know, you don't always have to follow the trends. It can be great to go off other people when you need some help and you're feeling lost. But if it doesn't all resonate with your heart space and you don't feel like that's completely your path, like you want to go a different way with it, you're still trans. Just because I haven't transitioned doesn't mean I'm not trans. I'm transgender. I am a transgender male. No matter what anyone says, no matter what comments, I had a comment somebody like a year ago saying, you're a woman, go make me a sandwich. Okay, you know what? I will make you a damn good sandwich because I have been a cook for many years. It has nothing to do with being female or male. But when people say that kind of crap, just let it go. If somebody's got the time to comment crappy things on your YouTube, or somebody has the time to make judgment to you to your face or behind your back, you don't need those kind of people in your life. They're unhappy people. So, just be you. I'm a trans guy, my name's Cole, and I mainly identify with being a lightworker and a starseed, a soul having a human experience, as I like to start my videos off. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for the subscribes, the likes, the comments. Much love, y'all. If you are feeling like you are not on the stereotypical transgender path of reassignment, please leave a comment below. Or maybe you are and you just want to still comment below. Because I want to reiterate, there's nothing wrong with being on that stereotypical path. There's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. You want to transition and pack and bind? Freaking fantastic. It just didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I know there are a lot of people that feel the same. They're like, I'm not doing all those things. Does that mean I'm not trans? No, you're still trans. If you feel that you were born in the body that doesn't match your spirit, your soul, your brain, your mind, that typically means you're transgender. Welcome to the Great Awakening, y'all. Much love. See you next time.